What's up, everybody? It's your man Gillis the Kid. I'm back with another horror movie review. I do have a guest star, just like I promised. We're going to be reviewing Friday the 13th, Part 2. But before we get into it, let's take a look at the trailer.
Hello?
On a June night in 1980, Friday the 13th, 12 of her friends were murdered. Why should Friday the 13th, 1981 be any different? Friday the 13th, Part 2. The body count continues. 14.
All doomed. You're all doomed.
15.
God.
16.
Help!
17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23.
Sandra? Jeff?
The day you count on for terror is not over. Friday the 13th, Part 2.
You come over then when you start.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, so welcome back. We got Friday the 13th Part 2 review. I got my friend Mike here. He's an expert in this, so he's going to tell you all about it. We just finished watching the trailer and the movie, so so you tell me, like, Friday the 13th, the first one I ever seen was like the second one.
Right.
So, like, that had like all the characters, like all the iconic characters and Jason and stuff like that.
Right.
So like, what happened like after his mom died? Like,
Well, as you know, what happened after his mom died, you see is at the end, of course, you see Alice. She's on the boat, the rowboat, and then of course you see Jason come up, pop out of nowhere and grabs her, brings her in the water, and then the scene ends and fades, and then she ends up in the hospital.
right.
And that's what the cop, the cop was talking to her, saying, two of my men pulled you out. She thought they were dead too.
Well, the trailer shows all the like brutal shit.
Right.
So,
and then
so Jason saw like his mother get killed. Like he was there. Like what?
That's what they say. I know. It's kind of like a mystery because you don't see. You don't see it in the movie itself. Obviously, you don't see Jason like watching when she got her head chopped off. We just see. Like I said, you just see it at the end. But then, like I said with Alice, she was telling remember she said to the cop, the boy, is he dead? Is he dead too? And the guy didn't know, like, boy, he's like Jason. What I'm saying?
So like Jason. So basically, Jason tracks Alice down.
Yeah,
to her
because
house,
wherever it was. Where part two opens up, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you see the beginning of just walking. He's like walking around. And then of course we go to Alice. This is the beginning of part two. Bear in mind, of course. It starts off with Alice. She's she's laying down and she keeps having she's having some nightmares of what happened that night when she met Jason's mother. Right. And they had a few scenes that they were fighting each other, and then of course she chops the mother's head off, and then she wakes up, and then
So after Jason kills Alice. Now he goes back to
Right.
like Camp Crystal Lake.
It's
Or-
it's like
So now these new
counselors. It's a whole right. It's a whole.
Yeah.
It's basically a whole new chapter after Alice gets killed. You know, after Jason kills her at her house. You know, it's So then you got all these. Yeah, there's new counselors, and I don't think they were.
they were training to be counselors.
Right, trained to be counselors, and don't forget also, if you remember, as far as going back to the original, if you remember Ralph, Crazy Ralph, from the original, he was in part 1. He was in part 2 as well, and he was pretty much picking up where he left off in part 1, he kept warning people, kept telling people, you're all doomed, you're all doomed.
So this is the movie where he gets killed.
Yes, now in part right. So now we're picking up in part 2, and Jason eventually, he uses like a barbed wire or something, and chokes it around his neck. Poor Ralph.
So now, I just remember the characters like Mark and
Ginny.
Mark, Ginny.
Paul. It was Paul. Paul was the main guy.
boyfriend.
The main characters were Paul and Jenny. Mark was the one that was in the wheelchair.
Right.
Yeah, he was in the wheelchair. Then you had. I know it's hard to remember the other. The supporting characters. It's hard to remember their names. I don't remember them too much. But like I said, I just remember the main characters. Like I
The
said.
tall, lanky guy. Like, what the heck was his name?
Was he the one?
He's the one with the mask. Like,
Oh, the one that was doing the pranks and scaring people.
I don't know what his
I
name
know,
was.
but I know. And bear in mind, we just watched the movie a little while ago, and I don't know. We just we're not good with we're sorry, people. We're not good with we forget people's characters' names in the movie, so we're sorry. But
So basically, so anyone that comes to the camp, Jason kills.
that's basically that's what it is. I mean, you no matter
Like,
where.
don't come to Camp Crystal Lake. Oh wait, so this was filmed in Jersey too, by the way, wasn't it?
As much as we saw the credits,
I think it was.
was it?
I know the first movie was
Was it?
filmed in Jersey.
Well, if it picks up, you figure it's a year later because the first one was made in '80. This was 1981. So, maybe it was, but hey, watch the. You can always watch the credits and check that out. Usually, it always says at the end, filmed on location.
It was either New Jersey or like Connecticut. I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was Connecticut.
Right.
I might have to look at the credits again.
So basically, so it's basically it's a whole new chapter with the new counselors, and Jason. Now Jason's there, and he and then obviously he whoever he sees or stalks, he eventually kills him basically.
So he had there was no mask.
No, he had it was like a potato like a potato sack in this one, and he was kind of like dressed like basically just like a farmer. Basically, he had like he had bib overalls on, and like I said, the potato sack. So
Like a farmer.
He's like that's basically
Farmer outfit.
farmer Jason Voorhees, I guess you can call him. So.
Which makes sense since he was in the woods. So
Yeah,
I guess he killed like you know how Michael Myers always killed like the mechanic and took his
They
clothes.
took the
So I
the
guess
jumpsuit.
Jason-
He had the jumpsuit on, right? Yeah. So
Jason always killed the like the farmer guy or something like that.
yeah, maybe that's what he did. After all, he wasn't naked. He probably figured he was naked when he came out of the water, so he got older. He needed some clothes, so I guess the farmer in the works.
So after this one in '81, so wait, what happened to Paul though? Was he dead? Like, what did that really happen?
Yeah, that was
at the end?
that was the mystery. Obviously at the end of the movie, after Paul and Ginny, they have Paul gets knocked out during that, because he first remember they had that little fight at the beginning, and he was gone for a while, so
Right.
he was pretty much chasing. Jason was pretty much chasing Ginny around, and then she ends up at Jason's house, and that's where she saw she saw the mother, the fake. I guess that was her head. So,
Well, technically, he can only see out of one eye, right?
The way it looked,
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a minute. So she, Jason, goes in the room, she locked the door, he barges in, finally, and then she you see her, she puts the sweater on and fixes her hair up, and she pretends to act like Jason's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, it looked like it worked. She was telling, she kept telling him, kneel down, Jason's mother's talking to you, and it got to the point where it's like, maybe it is my mother. He was believing her, and then but then you see as looked like she was about to kill him. You see, she moved to the side, and you see her head. The real mother's head was there. So they caught on. I was like, "Wait, you're not my mother." And right there, and then Paul And then Paul came in, so
Wouldn't that head like rotted though after all those years?
That's what I
like,
said.
Wouldn't it have been like a skeleton though?
I guess he put fake skin on. I don't know, something.
Something like that.
So then he finally see Paul finally comes back. Yeah, Paul comes in. I guess he followed him to the house. I don't know. He came out of nowhere. So again, they were fighting, and then you see Genie take the it was like a, to be a
machete or something.
Knife or machete, yeah.
I think it was his machete.
Right. She stabs in there right around the shoulder. Actually, I think it was the shoulder, right inside the shoulder of the arm. And then she takes the sack off.
So that's Jason's.
Walks
so
away.
that's his signature weapon, like the machete.
Pretty much the machete. He's
everything. Really.
Yeah, I mean, as the movies progresses, he had a whole bunch of he had machetes, he had axes, he had knives. He had a whole bunch of. If you're a fan of all the Friday 13th, then you will know that he used different weapons.
Right.
But so the way it looks, he's dead right there. They go back to the house.
The dog survived.
The dog, yeah. You see, right? You see, at first they were getting ready.
Not the first dog, but the second dog. I think he
killed.
killed.
Muffin. Don't forget, Muffin was at the beginning.
Muffin is the dog's name.
The other dog at the other two counselors saw. I don't know. I guess that was just another dog that just Jason killed. Who knows? But so Muffin comes at the end, and then of course you see Jason comes. He comes through without the sack, and you see his actual face. And then takes Genie he takes Genie down in slow motion, and then obviously what happens the scene fades out, and then you see her going on the stretcher, but then you don't see
traumatized,
right? So then you don't see and then you don't see Paul, so I don't know.
That was it. I'm assuming that Paul is dead.
That's the only thing we can think of. I mean. Well, the thing is that because even she said she's like, "Where's Paul?" And but the thing is, nobody said nothing. So I don't know. Is he dead? I don't know. But that's usually what happens.
He didn't show up in the third one though.
No, the third one. No. Well, I know we'll eventually get to that in the future. But technically, in the third one, they actually flashback to part 2, if you remember, and they show the beginning. The beginning of part 3 starts with flashbacks from part 2. Yeah. And one thing I know, and if you remember, there was a new scene. Leading into part 3, after she killed Jason with the knife or whatever, you see them walk away, and then you see Jason moving, getting ready to get up. If you remember, that, and then of course the credits from part 3 comes on, and then that's then a whole new chapter starts in that one. So yeah, but the end of part 2, that's it's like they leave you. It's like they basically leave you with questions.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So where's Paul? Is Paul dead? Did he survive? Did he go in? Maybe he went to another ambulance. Obviously, Genie was alive, of course. So yeah, but and that's how part. And that's how it's pretty much how part 2 ended.
A lot of good characters.
Yeah, there was good characters.
It was a good cast.
It was a good cast.
And this happened. This movie was made a year.
Right after the original,
after the first.
I think, as a matter of fact, all the not all, but most of the most of the Friday 13s were pretty much made a year later. Pretty much, I think
all
even
in the 80s. Right?
All in the 80s. Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. I think they were made. I think they were made because the first Nightmare on Elm Street was made in 1985, and I remember I think part 2 was 86. Because I remember my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street's part 4, The Dream Master, and I remember that was made in 1988, and I remember I think Dream Warriors, the third one, was 87. So that's kind of like pretty much the same thing, and even the Halloween movie is the same thing. I think I remember because I remember part 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
That is one of my favorites. By
yes, that was, and I remember that was made. That was 1988, and I think I remember part 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers,
which I will have coming up pretty soon.
Right. That was made, and that was made in 1989. So a couple of the Halloween movies with them, they were back-to-back years too.
Yeah.
I think, but if I remember after 89, I think then part 6, which was The Curse of Michael Myers, and that didn't come out. I think that didn't come out until
it got kind of
later.
ridiculous.
It was later, yeah. It was like around
Jason
mid-90s.
got Friday the 13th. I think after like part 4, like got kind of like.
Well, here's my thing is
he became like superhuman. Like he was like uppercutting people's heads.
Well, yeah. Well, if you remember, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan with what was his name?
They made him into like the Incredible Hulk or something,
right.
Just like uppercutting people's heads off.
Julius. His name was Julius.
Yeah, the boxer.
Yeah, the scene. When he goes, take your best shot. Yeah, he grabs the by his shirt and knocks his head right off. I know we'll get. I know we're going to get to them in the
Well, I
in the
remember
future.
that because it was New York.
Yeah,
so,
right. Well, yeah. Well, it was called Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes
And the part 4, which I know we'll be doing that soon, and part 8 were definitely two of my probably one of my two favorite Friday 13s. I think they were my top ones, and part 6 was pretty. Part 6
got
was
a lot
okay.
of footage coming.
Oh yeah,
I'll
and
put it
Jason
that
lived.
way.
Part 6 was Jason Lives, so that was pretty good. But as they continued to go, I think after Jason Takes Manhattan, I think that's really when the movie started to go down, in my opinion. I mean, I think like I said, Jason Goes to Hell was that was okay. If you remember, that's when he was able to go inside people's bodies.
Yeah.
If you remember
Yeah,
that,
that was...
And so that one, and of course Jason X was the next one. That probably had to be the worst one of the whole saga. And then of course next would have been Freddy versus Jason, which I thought was neat because you got to see the two legends go at it.
Yeah.
And then they made that, a new one in New Friday 13th in 2009, which was okay. I mean, it was
the reboot, wasn't
it was the reboot from 2009. That one, it was okay. Yeah, it was.
Well, part 2 made sense because it was Jason taking revenge for his mother.
Right. That pretty much it's the first time you see Jason killing people in that one. So, and then when we go into part 3, of course, that's when that's the first time you'll see him wear the mask and see him the way that.
So the mask came in part 3, right?
The part 3.
The hockey mask.
The hockey mask was the first. That was the first time he wore the hockey mask, and that was played. Jason Voorhees. That was Richard. I think his last name was Richard. Brooker or Booker. I actually met him at the horror convention in Cherry Hill Plaza. They usually do a monster convention every. I think it's like they do two a year. And I did meet him, and I also met Kane Hodder, who played Jason, of course, in part 7, 8, 9, and 10. I met them. So, and Richard Booker actually, he just passed away about maybe a few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. Like I said, I met Ken Hodder.
Didn't you meet Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy too?
No, I didn't. No. But I did. I remember when I met Kane Hodder. I asked him too. I said, "Were you going to play? Did they ask you to play Freddy versus Jason?" And he was just like, "I thought I was." He didn't really go into too much detail, but but he was a nice guy. I did get a picture taken with him. When he took my picture, he pretended like he was like strangling me. But when he took the picture, he actually did a little squish on me. I'm like. So I'm like, as I took the picture.
He actually choked you.
A little bit, yeah. So, it was funny. And also, I also did meet too, speaking of Michael Myers as well, I met George P. Wilbur, who played Michael Myers in part 4 and part 6. He didn't do the fifth one. I think he was at the beginning. They had flashbacks from part 4, and I met him too. George P. Wilbur. He was a nice guy. I just asked him what was it like working with Donald Pleasance, who played Dr. Loomis in the original.
Donald Pleasance. I think he didn't he die after the Curse of Michael Myers or something?
He did. It was he was actually if you watch part 6, if you watch part 6, you'll see
the girl that played as Jamie, Danielle. I think it was Danielle Harris.
Yeah,
she was really good.
Right. She wasn't in. But if you remember part 6 though. That wasn't Danielle Harris that played Jamie at the beginning. Remember when she had a baby? It was somebody else. Yeah. But Donald Pleasance, as I was saying about George P. Wilbur, he said he loved working with him. He thought he was a great actor. And it was sad too because even when you watch part 6, you see how old and sick he was in the movie. And I think that's why a lot of the scenes were weren't too long or cut short. And even at the end of the movie, if you remember, it says in memory of Donald Pleasance. So,
nice.
But yeah, so
a lot of good footage.
A lot of good stuff.
Well, yeah, check it out if you're not. Even if you're not a horror fan, give it a shot. Good movies. I think you can get the whole collection now.
Oh, they have. I have me being
all in one box.
Yeah, me being a horror fan myself, I have the Michael Myers movies, or the Halloween movies, I should say, in a box set. And yes, they do give you the Rob Zombie movies that he directed. And if you want my advice, people, don't watch them. Don't watch the Rob Zombie. Don't watch the Rob Zombie versions. To me, I mean, the first one was okay. The second one, I think he did was just worse.
Yeah, they were bad.
But we did see the new one that came out, and it was enjoyable, much better than his versions. It was good. And I also have the Friday 13th box set. I have a box set of that.
I'm gonna drop all that down into the description. So
okay, yeah, I have all the
everything.
yeah. I mean, technically, I do have all the Friday 13th. So I have them in the box set. So I'm a collector. I have the Nightmare on Elm Street. So I have it's actually 1 to 7. The Wes Craven's Nightmare was made like '94. The other ones I have separately because it was on the box set, and they even give you as one of the features. In the set, they give you 2 episodes. If you remember Freddy's Nightmares, the TV series that came on in the '80s, they give you like 2 episodes.
It was a cartoon or something.
No. It was like a Tales from the Crypt, and he hosted the show, and then there would be like storylines and stuff. So that's pretty much what it was. It was like stories, and it was kind of because he did some episodes where he would show up in the stories themselves, which was pretty neat too. So
sort of like how Stan Lee did, or no.
Like the Spider-Man movies when he made his cameos, and that's kind of like what Freddy did. He would show up and you would see him pop in the storylines, but mainly he would always hang out in his boiler room at the beginning. The boiler room. I guess that's probably what's considered where he would always be. So, but to Nightmare on Elm Street fans, I don't think they've released the set of Freddy's Nightmares, so you probably have to find the TV shows or something on eBay, probably on eBay or maybe
somebody have it.
But I don't know. Maybe in the future someday they'll finally release it. I think it was only 2. I think it was just like 2 seasons and that was it. So
that's all I got.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have the other ones coming up pretty soon. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank my friend Mike for coming over.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
Yep. We will be doing some more movies together. This is the Jason expert right here. Yep. Yeah. So that's all I got. I want to thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. I'll see you later. Peace.